Greetings! Thank you for taking the time to view this ESSA webinar on the Title III section. We would greatly appreciate your feedback by using the guiding questions document that was sent with this link and is also on the ESSA webpage of the OPI website. Please send your feedback to the email address that will be listed at the end of the webinar. There are a couple of things to consider when thinking about the Title III grant. First of all, English learners make up 2% of the student body in Montana. This year, there were 2,918 ELs identified. Montana is a minimally funded Title III state, which means we receive an allocation from the federal government for $500,000 to support all Title III grants in the state. This year, 57 schools received a Title III allocation. There are 5 purposes of Title III. The first purpose is that it will help ELs attain English proficiency and develop high levels of academic achievement in English. The second purpose is that ELs will achieve at high levels in academic subjects so that all ELs can meet the same challenging state academic standards that all children are expected to meet. The third purpose is to help schools establish, implement, and sustain effective language instruction programs to support the ELs. The fourth purpose is that these schools can develop and enhance their capacity to provide these effective instructional programs to support ELs. The fifth purpose is to promote parental, family, and community participation in language instruction programs for the parents, families, and communities of English learners. This is important to remember when thinking about Title III. In the ESSA law, there are 2 state plan requirements. The first one is about how the agency awards subgrants to eligible entities. In the spring, the OPI notifies all eligible entities, being any school district that has at least one identified English learner. From there, the school is able to apply using the e-grant system for the Title III grant. There is a minimum allocation of $10,000, and if a school district does not get $10,000 on their own, they can join a consortium and join with other small districts to meet that minimum. The Title III grant is a formula grant and is funded by per pupil amounts every year. The second requirement of the law is about how the OPI will establish and implement, with timely, meaningful consultation with local education agencies representing the geographic diversity of the state, standardized statewide entrance and exit procedures, including an assurance that all students who may be English learners are assessed for such status within 30 days of enrollment in the school in the state. The OPI has developed 2 entry points to meet those requirements. The first entry point is in blue. That is that all students in Montana will be given or administered the Home Language Survey. This survey asks parents or guardians to display if there are any other languages other than English apparent in the student's life or in the home. If there is another language being spoken or used in the student's life, then they are going to be screened on the WIDA online language screener for students in grades 1 through 12, or if they're in kindergarten, they will be screened on the Kinder WAPT. If this screener comes back and the student's scores fall below our proficiency criteria, they are identified as an EL and they will be served by that school. If their scores do not fall below our proficiency criteria, they are not identified and no further action is needed. Montana has a second entry point, which is in pink. This is where a teacher can administer the teacher observation checklist and observe the student's English language proficiency in the classroom to determine if they might need to be screened on the language screener. Again, if there is an issue, the student will be screened on the WIDA online language screener or the kindergarten WAPT. Again, if their scores fall below proficiency criteria, they are identified as EL and they are served. If their scores do not fall below the criteria, they are not identified and they are not served. In order for this to happen within 30 days of enrollment, there is an assurance in the e-grant that all schools must check in order for ESSA funds to be available and for their application to be approved. After a student is identified as EL and their language needs are served through quality and effective instruction, then they would hopefully exit the status of an EL learner. The exit criteria in Montana take place after the student has taken the WIDA Access 2.0, which is the summative assessment, or the kindergarten access. The testing window for these two summative assessments is the months of December and January. To meet their exit criteria, a student must score at least a 5.0 in the overall composite score, which is a combination of all 4 language domains, including speaking, listening, reading, and writing. They must also score at least a 4.0 in each language domain. The OPI considers looking at multiple points to determine if an EL is actually meeting the standards for all students and without additional help. The OPI provides guidance and other supports to help schools when evaluating data to see if a child is ready to exit. In Montana, we have many professional development efforts to retool and to tool teachers and districts in order to help them make a successful and effective program. Currently, we have many statewide conferences, including WIDA training, where the assessment consortium comes in and provides professional development around English language proficiency standards, strategies, and other resources. We have presentations at the MEA MFT Teachers Conference. We have academic language institutes around the state, presentations at the Title I Conference, and an every other year Hutterite Conference to help teachers and districts meet the needs of their Hutterite colony students. The OPI also offers teacher hub courses, both facilitated and self-paced, a variety of technical assistance, including webinars, electronic guidance, and the OPI website, which has many resources for schools and districts. That was a quick overview of our Title III portion of the ESSA plan. We have 3 questions we'd like for you to consider and provide feedback as we continue to refine our plan. The first question is, do you think the entrance process and criteria are appropriate to identify ELs in Montana? The second question is, do you think the exit criteria will exit students who can meet the challenging state standards without language supports? And part 3, what other supports do you need or does your school need to develop and refine an EL program? Please answer these questions and send the guiding document back to Sherry Harlow at the email address at the bottom of the screen. If you have additional questions, please contact Natalie Hawks at the email and phone number listed there, or Debbie Hunsaker. Thank you for your time. Bye.